Welcome back. The World Health Organization has warned that the coronavirus pandemic is accelerating with more than 300,000 cases now confirmed. WHO Director General Tedros Ghebreyesus says it took 67 days from the first reported case to reach 100,000 cases, 11 days for second 100,000 cases, and just 4 days for the third 100,000 cases. However, he says it is still possible to change the trajectory. Let's head on to our London studios now, where Simon Pusey is standing by with more international news.
Hello and good evening from the Channel studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. It's looking increasingly likely that the 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games will be delayed after Canada and Australia both withdrew. In a tweet, the Canadian team wrote, "Team Canada will not send athletes to Games in summer 2020 due to COVID-19 risks." The Games are currently due to begin on the 24th of July. Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe has admitted for the first time that the Games could be postponed. Meanwhile, Australia's team said it's clear the Games cannot go ahead and told its athletes to prepare for a 2021 Games.
The Australian Olympic team could not be assembled in the changing circumstances both here and abroad. We have to look after not only just our athletes and officials, but also their families. Combined with a decision of the International Olympic Committee, we've decided to plan towards the hosting of a Games in 2021.
The former Hollywood producer and convicted sex offender Harvey Weinstein has tested positive for the virus while in prison and is now in isolation. Weinstein was found guilty of rape and sexual assault last month and sentenced to 23 years in prison. His lawyers have vowed to appeal against his conviction. It's thought another prisoner has also tested positive and several officers at the facility have been quarantined. The US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has arrived in the Afghan capital on a previously unannounced visit to help salvage a historic deal between Washington and the Taliban, struck in February but marred by a political feud. Pompeo will meet President Ashraf Ghani and longtime rival Abdullah, who contest the result of a September presidential vote. His visit is being watched closely for clues to whether it can resolve the weeks-long political deadlock. At least 23 people have died in one of Bogotá's largest jails after what the authorities are calling a mass breakout attempt amid rising tensions over the coronavirus. Colombia's justice minister said 83 inmates were injured during a riot at La Modelo prison. Inmates at prisons across the country held protests on Sunday against overcrowding and poor health services during the coronavirus outbreak. 32 prisoners and 7 guards were in hospital. 2 guards are in a critical condition. At least 2 people were killed in violence after a constitutional referendum was held in Guinea on Sunday, which opponents fear could see President Alpha Condé extend his rule by a further 10 years. Gangs of youths exchanged volleys of stones in clashes in towns in the country. Under the proposed new constitution, the presidency would be limited to 2 6-year terms, up from 2 5-year terms. But Condé has refused to rule out using the referendum as a reset button, allowing him to extend his rule beyond his second term, which expires in December. McDonald's has closed all of its restaurants in the UK and Ireland because of the coronavirus outbreak. Restaurants have been forced to shut doors or limit service to delivery and takeaway in many parts of the world in efforts to curb the spread of the virus. In China, the epicenter of the virus, McDonald's has reopened 95% of its restaurants. And finally, while the coronavirus has hurt hundreds of thousands of businesses across the globe, it has provided a boost for Kenyan fishermen. They've seen a rush of customers as consumers shun imported Chinese frozen fillets for freshly caught fish from the shores of Lake Victoria. Kenya imported $23 million worth of frozen fish from China in 2018, but now the coronavirus has given local fishermen a boost as Chinese imports slowed and nervous customers have turned to local fish. Local sales have gone up from 50% to 90% in the last 2 weeks. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Let's check in on sports news now with Charles Eruka.
Many thanks, Amarachi, and welcome to Sports News. European football governing body UEFA formally postponed the Champions League and Europa League finals originally scheduled for May. No decision has been made on a rescheduled date. The working group established last week as a result of the conference call among the stakeholders of European football, which was chaired by UEFA President Alexander Ceferin, will analyse the options available. In England, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has spoken for the first time about his coronavirus ordeal after revealing he has made a swift recovery from the illness. Arteta became the first high-profile figure in English football to be struck down by the virus, which prompted the English Premier League to suspend fixtures. And elsewhere, veteran IOC member Dick Pound has revealed plans are now being made for the Tokyo Olympics to be postponed and are likely to be rescheduled for 2021. Speaking to USA Today, Pound says details will be worked out in the next 4 weeks, with the Games most likely to be moved to 2021. And Norwegian Olympics Committee President Berit Kjøll says Norway should not send athletes to this year's Tokyo Olympics until the coronavirus pandemic is under control. Now, this is coming after Canada and Australia confirmed they will not send athletes to the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo because of the risks associated with the coronavirus outbreak. That's it on Sports News, and it's back to Amarachi with a wrap.
Thanks, Charles. And the main news again. The federal government has confirmed a total of 36 cases of coronavirus in the country, including 1 fatality and 1 patient in very critical condition. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Hanire, also announced 6 new cases of the virus, bringing the number of cases to 36. That's all on the news at 10 tonight. Thank you for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.